So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you can recognize your brilliance and change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm your host, Sharon Lynn Wyatt, creator of Namology Science and author of Know the Name, Know the Person. And in each weekly show, you'll hear the fascinating ways other people have discovered the genius in them and what they were able to accomplish. At the end of tonight's show, you'll hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. Now, all over the world, people of many, many diverse interests. And in that vein, people have asked about different occupations, different areas of life that have highly interested them. People want to know how highly successful people have managed to achieve their genius mindset when they use the gifts that are seen in their name, when we're using Namology Science. So how does someone express their creative talents, and how does someone share those gifts with others in such a way that everyone benefits? Our expert tonight is Susan Sheppard, who has developed her genius in the area of getting what you want out of your romantic relationships. Now, Susan Sheppard is the founder of Getting What You Want Incorporated. She's a life and love coaching coach for that organization. She's on a mission to get people loved the way they want to be loved. Now, she has a very successful track record of helping people heal their wounded hearts, reframe their perception of opposite sex, and meet their perfect partner so they can find true intimacy, love, and long-term commitments. She is an award-winning, best-selling Amazon author of the books, How to Get What You Want from Your Man Anytime, and Dating After 40, No More Excuses. Now, Susan's 40 years as a registered nurse in emergency services honed her crisis intervention skills as a coach. Now, she is a self-proclaimed self-awareness addict since 1978. Her eclectic background includes working directly for Michael Gerber, the renowned business e-myth guru, for 3 years, and she was certified by Tony Robbins in NLP in 1990. Now, her background covers a variety of areas, as she's been a headhunter in the oil industry, a general contractor building custom homes, a movie producer, a business coach, an author and a book publisher, and now a life coach specializing in love relationships. She truly is a Renaissance woman. I'm so glad that you found time to join us today, Susan. Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You radio show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I can't believe I'm that crazy to do all that stuff.
It just means that you're living up to the you in your name, which says you have a short attention span because you get bored easily.
Well, I hope there's a justifiable reason for this.
Yes, there is. Wait till I get to your name. Anyway, so I want to jump right off the bat because this is an area of love relationships that just talks to everybody. And so many people choose the wrong person to love. You know, we hear stories that lovers and mates have affairs, they're financially swindled by their loved one, or they become abusive. Why do we fall in love with the wrong people?
You really want to know the answer to that?
Yeah, I do.
It has to do this is my belief, and you know that I could be totally wrong about all of this, but this is what I've learned in the 30 years I've been doing this, is that we start out very open, and as we get disillusioned and disappointed as we're growing up, and usually these filters develop within the first 7 years of our life or in a past life, if you believe in that stuff. But ultimately, we develop filters, and the filters are stored in our other than conscious mind, and it's our other than conscious mind that attracts the wrong people, because it attracts the people that fit the filter, or if you want to call it that, the barcode that we have for a mate.
So that means we're setting our barcodes way too low.
Well, we set them unconsciously. It's not like we suddenly decide, okay, I really want to attract nothing but narcissists. Or
that's a full B in the name. You know, if you're looking at a name and they have an O and then followed by a B, that's narcissism. Keep going. We'll teach people what they're looking for.
Or I want to attract somebody who's going to abuse me in some way, either, emotionally, physically, or sexually, and ultimately what happens, and what I've discovered really in the 30 years I've been doing this, is that people tend to have a pattern, and their pattern tends to be they're attracted to someone they created a filter for, whether consciously or unconsciously, in their first 7 years. And it could be a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a neighbor, anybody that they have decided that this is the person. And it's totally unconscious. They are definitely not conscious of it. And in fact, I've met so many people who've been married 3 and 4 times who literally end up marrying the same person in a different body, and they look totally different to begin with, but ultimately that's how they end up being. And then they're like, why does this keep happening to me? Well, the only common denominator is them. So there's something in them that attracts those people.
So is that like saying that if your dad was abusive as a child, then you would attract an abusive mate?
Maybe. You may go the other extreme. And, it just depends on how the filter was developed at the time. But many times I find that to be true. I do find that to be true, that if they have an abusive mother or father, because some people attract their mother
right
in a mate, and some people attract their father in a mate, and some people attract whoever raised them, or a neighbor, or it could be anybody, really. It's a discovery process to discover, and it isn't even really important who it was that the pattern was created for. What matters is that you discover that there's a pattern, and then you have to do the work to change it.
Okay, now this is making me feel better, maybe, about the suggestions I gave my kids. I said, find somebody that's a lot like your dad and date him and get that out of your system. Then find somebody who's a lot like your mom, date him and get that out of your system. Have a good long relationship, get that out of your system. Then find somebody totally new and different.
Well, I mean, that can work too. I mean, part of the system that I developed, there's a step 2, and the step 2 is called the love yourself step. And everyone thinks when they come to me and they're looking for a relationship that my step 2 has to do with finding them a relationship, but it actually has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is expanding their perception of who's out there for them and changing their unconscious filters and, creating the desire and the unconscious ability to attract who they really want in their life. So it's all about becoming who they need to be in order to attract who they want.
Well, I'm still thinking about up until age 7. If you have incredibly loving, wonderful parents, that would help you tremendously, huh?
Yes, it would. Definitely.
Okay. I'm watching my grandchildren. Okay. Okay, now this is the part of the show where we interpret a portion of our guest's name. Are you ready, Susan?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm starting off with that you have a great sense of humor according to your name, and you can take really what I want to call airy-fairy thoughts and make sense out of them, because at the same time that you can go up to those very lofty ideas and with spiritual pursuits, The same thing is that you're very grounded at the same time and very practical. And so it's a really nice balance because you can go to either extreme. Your name also indicates that you get bored very quickly, like I was saying earlier. So you would have a lot of different interests. And it's like every 6 or 7 minutes, you'd not need a commercial break, or you may be jumping all around on different topics and come back like a round robin. Because if you're staying too long focused on one thing, it's just not interesting anymore because you have a very fast mind that grasps things very quickly. You also have a very good memory, according to your name, and wish to make the world a better place. Your big challenge in your name is, what can you learn about everything? It's like there's no filter of what you're not interested in. So it's like, what can I learn about this? And what can I learn about that? And what can I know about this? And so you're attracted to people who can teach you. Okay? And so that
explains a lot.
And then it also says that you have a great ability to have a power of influence. And so that's very exciting. That you can be able to use that, but that you also need your freedom, and you appreciate other people around you that also need their freedom, so that they're not needy or grabby or want to be rescued.
Well, that certainly explains a lot about who I am.
I always like reading names. Okay. So this should be fun. We are going to be talking about relationships. And I know a lot of times I'll dig into somebody's background, but Susan's topic is so interesting, and we all want to know how to improve our relationships and attract the perfect one. So we do need to take a break, and stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. And it's being heard on xzbn.net and X Zone Broadcast Network, and on the website, knowthename.com. Now, after the break, we're going to find out how we can get the biggest revelations and things about ourselves so that we know how to put out those vibes out there to get exactly what we're looking for. Please stay tuned.
Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Now, our guest tonight is Susan Sheppard, whose website is gettingwhatyouwant.com. Again, that is gettingwhatyouwant.com. Okay, Susan, what's the biggest revelation that you had when you started doing the work you're currently doing?
Oh, wow, that's an interesting question. That most people who get married for the wrong reasons.
Okay, like a good reason might be he can take care of me, or he's got a lot of money, or she's a good cook, or sexuality, or something.
Most people get married for chemistry, and they forget or just don't know to look any further, or they deny when red flags come up because they don't want to pass this opportunity up.
So we need to be looking past chemistry, or can we have chemistry plus? Don't you need chemistry too?
Yes, absolutely. You need the chemistry. There's 3 essential ingredients. You know, I have this 5-step process the 4th step is success with the 3 essential ingredients. 3 essential ingredients are chemistry, which is, from my perspective, it's the easy part. Pretty much everyone knows when they have chemistry, and they appreciate it. The second thing is compatibility, and the compatibility has to be with each other's deal breakers. In other words, you don't want the deal breakers. And deal breakers can be anything, literally anything. People's deal breakers are not all the same. They're all unique and individual to each individual person. But if you haven't done the work to discover what they are, you might be surprised when you find out what they are. And the last thing is love with respect. You can love someone and not respect them. You can respect someone and not love them. But if you have love with respect and compatibility, especially with the deal breakers and chemistry, then you have a really good foundation for a long-term relationship. It doesn't mean if you have them all that it guarantees success, but it means you've got the foundation and you've got the tools to work with to have a successful relationship. But if one of them's missing, any one of the 3 are missing, from my point of view, the relationship is doomed. Eventually, it may take 20 years for it to fail, but it's doomed eventually.
Okay, my wonderful community. A deal breaker in a relationship is something that under no circumstances will you tolerate. An example would be like if there's no way that you want to be dating an alcoholic or married to an alcoholic. Okay, that's just an example. Now, is it wise, Susan, for someone to figure out their deal breakers before they start dating?
Well, it's wise for people to know what their deal breakers are, because if they have them, and if you find someone that's 95% what you want, but that 5% or 1%, even 99% what you want, and 1% is a deal breaker, you still have to walk away. But that's the problem, and that's why we have such a high divorce rate, because what will happen is people find somebody that is 90% or 80, even 80% what they want, but that 20% they want to deny exists, or I can fix that, or maybe they'll change their mind, or maybe they'll grow out of it, or whatever. I mean, they come up with all these reasons to deny it because they're afraid if they let go of this person who's 80% what they want, that they're never going to find anybody better.
I look at that like buying houses. You buy a house and you realize that the closets are too small. So the next house, you make sure those closets are big. But then you find out that the kitchen's too tiny. There's not enough room for everybody that comes to visit to talk in the kitchen. So the next house has a bigger kitchen and big closets. And that every time you move, you're improving your house because now you know what you want. I look at that as dating, that every time you have a man or a woman and they're 80% what you want, that just means that the next one gets to be better.
Yes, but that isn't always true.
Well, those you weed out right away. The other ones.
Well, you would hope that everyone thinks that way, but that's probably the biggest revelation, is that I find out that not everyone thinks that way. They just think that they can change them. Maybe that's the bigger revelation, even, is that people walk into a relationship thinking they're going to be able to change the other person.
Oh, I think it's hard enough to change ourselves, let alone somebody else.
But
Okay.
You're an enlightened person.
Or maybe I've just lived long enough to get smarter, right? Talking
Well, that
about
could be.
enlightenment. Susan, I was reading something and I couldn't wait to get you on the radio to ask you this, because you've done so much spiritual pursuits of your own. And that is, I read that out of the 4 bodies that we have a physical body, an emotional body, a mental body, and a spiritual body. What I was reading was, and it was in John Gray's work and Carolyn Mace's work. So I want to give credit where it's due. And they were saying that if you could match your partner in 3 out of the 4, you had a good foundation for a relationship and a marriage, okay, or a long-term relationship. But that if you could only match your partner in 2 of those, that was headed for divorce.
What are the 4? Emotional, physical?
A physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
Mental and spiritual. I would say I would probably agree with that. Although, you have to be willing to be flexible when you're in a relationship. And I don't mean compromise. Compromise is it's not a word I even like, okay? But flexibility is. And the reality is, if you have the ability to be flexible, and maybe you have differences in one of these areas, the flexibility allows you enough leeway to be able to get along. I mean, that the thing is, everyone always says opposites attract. And what is it about opposites that attract? Well, it's the challenge, and it's the ability to grow with a person.
Wow. Now men initiate a relationship, since they're the ones in our society that ask the woman out. However, women often settle instead of understanding that it's the woman who says yes and gives the go-ahead, or says no thank you. So isn't the control for the relationship, or maybe control's the wrong word, but isn't the decision whether this relationship's going to go forward or not up to the woman?
Well, I would have to disagree with the first thing that you said. I do not think that men ever initiate a relationship. It's always the women.
Yeah, how do they do that?
Women do the choosing. They have to give the man a signal that it's okay for that man to make a move, so to speak, to even talk to them. And even if all they do is open their mouth and say, when I start working with clients, I tell them, you really need to initiate conversations with men, because right now they're very skittish about women right now. They're very afraid of women at the moment because of all the things that are going on in the Me Too movement and everything else. And the women's lib caused a lot of issues for men.
Well,
and men don't know how to behave.
Well, and men can be falsely accused. I mean, we don't know if what was recently happening in our news was a accurate accusation or a false accusation. But I remember I always had to take the babysitter home because my guy didn't want to be left alone with a young teenager, because he wouldn't know what she could claim or not claim, even though I knew he'd be innocent.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. But what I know is, and it's been validated for me over and over and over again in this 30 years that I've been doing this, is that women do the choosing and women do the ending of all relationships. And that women have all of the, I don't even like the word power, but they have the power in relationship, because men have power in the rest of the world. And as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. Let them have it, because when women really do have power in relationship, and relationship is the foundation of everything. It's the foundation of business and politics and religion and love and life. If you aren't able to maintain a relationship in all of those areas, you have nothing. So women have the ultimate power, but women do the choosing and women do the ending. And even though it looks like men leave, a lot of times men do not leave a relationship until they've been dismissed.
Isn't that fascinating? Oh, I'm going to be thinking about this all night. Okay, so are there core beliefs that a woman has when she's willing to settle? Is there something in her that says, it's okay to settle, or
it's fear?
It's fear.
Fear that there's nobody better out there for them. And that's the work that I do with women, is I grow their self-esteem to the point where they know that they actually do have the ability to attract whoever it is they want, that they can literally, if they do the work that I have for them to do, the transformational work that I have for them to do, at some point they can walk into a room anywhere filled with men and look around and go, I'll take that one, and invite that person to be in their life. And that person will show up for them. Now, they may not stay, and you may not want them to stay, because once you choose them, it doesn't always mean you choose correctly just on vision, But ultimately, I so believe in the work that I do and the power that women have, that any woman anywhere, if she owns her feminine power, can walk into any room, anywhere, under any situation, and choose who she wants to be in relationship with.
Wow, I love this. And we need another break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and X-Zone Broadcast Network station, and on the website knowthename.com. Now, this show is dedicated to finding the right person for you to have a loving relationship with. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Susan Sheppard.
So I was watching the X-Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Susan Sheppard, an expert on knowing how to create amazing, loving relationships and how to attract those. She can be reached via her website, gettingwhatyouwant.com. Now, I want to spell her name for you because the last name is S-H-E-P like Peter, P like Peter, A-R-D like David. Okay, so we're here with Susan Sheppard. And Susan, it's like I have so many questions for you. So many women feel apprehensive if a guy wants to move a relationship along too rapidly. So what's a valid pacing for a relationship, or is the woman really in charge of that too?
Woman is totally in charge of relationship, always. She's in charge of the pace. She's in charge of how far it goes. It's like she's in charge of deciding whether they can hold hands or not and where the end of her hand is.
Okay, now wait a minute. Explain that.
Well, men can sometimes be aggressive, physically aggressive, and a woman is absolutely in charge of what a man can do to her body, where he can touch her, where he can make a move. She is totally in charge. Now, a lot of women don't know this. That's the part. That's what I'm trying to make common knowledge, that women do have all this power. But there's so many women out there who think men are in charge, and they're not. They're not when it comes to relationship.
So
they actually have very little to say about it.
Well, I know it seems like 1,000 years ago now when I was a teenager, if a guy went to put his hand on my body anywhere, I would literally grab his hand and say, does this belong to you? And if he said yes, I would say, please keep it. And if he said no, I'd say, I don't want it either. I mean, I was just really slow or difficult or very strict boundaries.
Smart.
Yeah, very smart. I didn't want it. And every guy learned right away, especially because the first couple of guys I dated all went and talked to everybody else, that you better move very slow with me and don't even try to kiss me till a third date. And that was if you were going to get a third date.
Very smart, like I said.
But
these young girls these days are not smart. They're actually very aggressive. I mean, I have 5 grandchildren, okay? And right now, one of the grandsons is 17, and one of my granddaughters is 16. The granddaughter who's 16 is not the least bit interested in boys at this point. But my grandson who's 17 is absolutely inundated by girls. They are all over him. He's gorgeous and he's smart and he's a football star right now. But literally he keeps getting himself in trouble. And he says, Grandma, I like this girl, but then this other girl, she's like all over me. And I said, and what do you do? He says, well, I can't be rude. And I'm like, yeah, but if you want to have a girlfriend, then you need to have a girlfriend. And then you're off limits. You're off the market. Or you can be the other way and play the field and not have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
but you can't do both.
Exactly. Now, I want to know how a woman or a man can move forward if the past relationship was abusive and they're still wounded.
Well, they can, but they really need to heal. There's a lot of work that can be done unconsciously using NLP. I'm certified in NLP. I got certified from Tony Robbins years and years and years ago, and recertified recently with Matt Browning. But ultimately, using NLP, which is a method of communicating directly with the unconscious, a lot of apprehension and limiting beliefs and all of those things can be shifted so that the fears that come from being abused are shifted. They're
That's
not
a good word.
They're not removed. They're shifted, so that it's not paralyzing to an extent that they're not able to actually engage in having a relationship, which some women who've been abused are really unable to do.
Now, NLP, you're talking about neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm just making sure that we are all on the same page. Okay, talking about pages, I want to talk about your book, How to Get What You Want from Your Man Anytime. Now, that's a relationship book that tells everyone in romantic relationships how to be content, how to have more fun, more sex, and less bickering. So I want to know one of the hints to have less bickering, because I hear couples sometimes bicker, and I look at them and I go, why do you do that to each other?
Because they're afraid to be vulnerable and tell the truth.
So that's what that's underlying that bickering.
Well, usually people are bickering about something they aren't willing to face up to. You know,
as an example,
it can be anything. It can be being late. Forgetting a birthday, or forgetting something. You know, maybe you have a date to go somewhere and something else comes up, or just being inconsiderate. But the reality is people don't want to be honest about the mistakes they make. And the truth is, for a relationship to work on a long-term basis, both parties need to be vulnerable. You need to know that if you are in a relationship with somebody, that person has your back no matter what. No matter what. And if that's the case, then you have to be honest and be vulnerable. And you have to be willing to admit when you make a mistake. And what happens most of the time when people make mistakes is they want to cover it up.
Yeah, instead of just coming forward and saying, oh man, oops. You know, I always felt that way with Nixon and different presidents. And Clinton, when he was accused with Monica Lewinsky, if they would have just said, yes, I did it. It wasn't right. And we're not going to do it again.
Screwed up.
I messed up.
Yeah.
We would have all forgiven him and life would have gone on.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Yeah. It's very true. Okay. And in relationship, you know, when you're in a committed relationship, you really need to be that other person's person. You know,
yes.
Having a person, that's the person who's going to be by your side no matter what, and stand by you and say, you know, I'm on your side until you prove to me that I shouldn't be.
Yeah. You know what? I think that would be wonderful to have that in a relationship that's an intimate relationship, because I notice that all my girlfriends do that for me. And I feel so strongly that if I ever called somebody and I needed help, they would go, oh, wow, you never asked for help. I'd love to help you. Mm-hmm. You know, because they would have my back. And Susan, don't you feel that way with yours? I mean, according to your name, everybody would do that for you too.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of really good friends. And it's great because I like to keep my relationships clean. You know what that means, don't you?
Yeah, you're always honest and you're always within integrity.
It's like there isn't anybody on the face of this earth at this time that I would be afraid to meet on a sidewalk.
Nice. Now, I want to know, in your book, How to Get What You Want from Your Man Anytime, is that just for women, or can men read that and get some clues out of there too?
Absolutely. The book is for men and women. It's really just my strategy. It is the strategy that I work with. And the reason it's titled the way it is because men don't buy those kind of books and women do. So it's a marketing thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. So have you found differences in what men expect from a relationship and able to be satisfied with that relationship and what women expect or need?
Absolutely. Men are easy to please. Men are really easy to please when it comes to relationship. They want approval, and they want appreciation, and they want sex. Not necessarily in that order.
Depends on their name. Okay, keep going.
Well, it depends on the time of day.
Well, I laugh because sexual needs and priorities show up in a name. So that's why I laugh that way.
Yeah,
Anyway, keep going. But you're right. It depends on the time of day.
Women want a whole lot more from a relationship than men do. Men are satisfied. I mean, I remember my husband used to say, without you and the kids, I'd be happy with a bed, a remote control, and a refrigerator.
Wow.
And
maybe a doll. Okay.
And the truth is that women improve the quality of life for men always.
Wow. So what about older people who have had a spouse for a long time and they're now re-entering the dating scene because they're widows or widowers or they've had this long marriage and after 40 years it falls apart or whatever. And so these people are now re-entering the dating scene. Any suggestions for them?
Yes, they need to do the same thing that all the young people do, which is to go out and expand their perception of who's out there for them. Otherwise, they're going to be looking for the same thing they already had or the opposite of what they already had. Okay.
That makes so much sense. We need to take our last break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, and it can be heard on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Now, after the break, we're going to find out what Susan has in her name that has assisted her that you just might have in your name as well. So please stay tuned for this fascinating show.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV.
Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Susan Sheppard, whose website is gettingwhatyouwant.com. Now, she's taken her skills to a level where she's able to share her secrets with others to enable them to also get what they want, just like she's able to get what she wants. And this is just incredible. I'm so happy that you're on our show with us tonight, Susan.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what happens if your heart is so broken after the last relationship that you're afraid to try again or open up? What do you suggest in this case?
Well, those are my favorite clients. I suggest they call me and have a conversation with me. My Love Yourself step, which is the second step of my 5-step process, is all about healing, growing your self-esteem, and expanding your perception of who's out there. And when I tell people what my second step is, they think it's all about going out and finding the man or the woman that they're looking for. But it really has nothing to do with that. It actually has to do with healing their broken heart. It has to do with growing their self-esteem. And it has to do with defining who it is they really want in their life and what kind of life they actually want. And that's really what it's all about. And the process it's called the Love Yourself step. But what it is I tell them, you must go and meet and have intimate conversations. Now, you're not dating. You're not having sex with these people. You are meeting and having intimate conversations about who they are, what gets them up in the morning, what makes them be the human being that they are on this planet. And I tell them, you go and meet 40 of the sex that you're looking to engage with. And they need to be people that you're not instantly attracted to. They need to be people who are outside your comfort zone. They need to be people of all races and ages and cultural backgrounds and religions and literally everything you can think of. I tell them one millionaire, one homeless person, one of every culture, one of every, sex, race, whatever you can find that's different. Go and really stretch your comfort zone and meet these people and find out who are they. Because what happens to us as we get disillusioned and disappointed in relationship is we shut down a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit till you're looking down a funnel and you're looking for this perfect person that is exactly what you've defined that you think you want, and that person doesn't exist. So you're going to end up alone. But if you stretch your comfort zone and expand beyond the boundaries that your other than conscious mind has set up for you, then you're able to actually find people who have probably been there the whole time that you haven't been able to see.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, suppose one's ready for a committed relationship, yet you just moved to a new place where you don't know anybody. And what does that person do to meet people? What are your suggestions there?
You talk to people when you're in line. You talk to people at the go to the produce department. You're going to find people in the produce department all the time. You can talk to people in the produce department. You can talk to anyone, anywhere. I literally have had these intimate conversations, and obviously I've been doing them for a long time, so I'm pretty practiced at it. But I actually had a conversation with the checker who was checking me out at TJ Maxx when I was buying 3 things. And I found out the answers to all of the questions I tell people to find the answers to in a matter of the 5 minutes that I was there checking out.
Wow. Okay, now you have 2 websites, the Get Loved Now website and the one that we've been telling our guests about already. But so we have these two websites, the Getting What You Want and the Get Love Now. So what's the difference between the two?
Well, Get Love Now was actually a seminar that I did, and I had guest speakers at it. And it was all about, are you really ready for a relationship? What are the things that you need to have managed in order to be ready for a relationship? Like your finances and your self-esteem and your fear of being abused and your image and your literally all of these things. I think I had 8 speakers at that event, and it really was specifically for that event. And there's actually a video of that event that I've had up on my website for a long time. And it's all of these speakers who spoke about different things, and they spoke about the spiritual connection. And I had my male coach that I had, a relationship coach who his name is Jack Rafferty, and he lived on a commune up in Northern California where they studied female sexuality and relationships. And he lived up there for 9 years with his wife. And I learned a great deal about relationships from him. And he was one of our speakers at that event. So that event, that website is actually specifically just about that event that we only did one time. So it's got information on it, and it has information about the speakers that were there. But my real website is gettingwhatyouwant.com.
Okay. Is there a link from gettingwhatyouwant.com to the other website?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, that way we can all just remember one of them.
Just remember the Getting What You Want one.
Okay. So if you could change one thing about people's understanding or how they look at romantic love and romantic relationships, what would that be?
It would be to stay out of denial. Really pay attention to the intuitive hits that you get about anybody. Pay attention. Pay attention to what it is you want and what it is that's not there.
Interesting. I say this because, I got divorced 29 years ago. Sure. And so there's been many a dates in between. And of course, my kids always say, what was his name? Because you won't go out with him if he doesn't pass the name test. But I do look at, those feelings and those gut feelings. And like, I think our intuition does go off and say, something's not right here, even if you have no clue what it is initially.
Right. And if you don't listen to it, your intuition literally can stop talking to you.
Oh, now that's dangerous.
Right. You should pay attention because it's very, your intuition is you. It's your other than conscious mind. I tell people, listen to your body, listen to the physical signs you get in your body, and listen to those intuitive pokes that you get. When I was an ER nurse, and I will tell you this mini story. It's a mini story, but when I was an ER nurse, really early on, I think I had just graduated. It was 1965. And a young man walked up to the window and said he was having chest pain. And in 1965, we didn't even have coronary care units. We didn't put people on monitors. When men had heart attacks, they laid in the bed for 6 weeks and student nurses fed and bathed them. And they loved it, but the student nurses didn't. But this 27-year-old guy walked up to the window, and I started to say, go to the waiting room, have a seat, and we'll call you. And I got this like a poke, like somebody poked me. And I went, oh, never mind, just come with me. And I put him in the cardiac room that we had set up. And I said, put this gown on, lay down in the bed, and I'll be right back. And I came back, and he had a massive heart attack, and his heart stopped, and we did CPR on him and saved his life. Had I sent him to the waiting room, he would have died. So from that moment on, I listened to those pokes.
Ooh, wow. Absolutely. Okay, so I have another question because a lot of people in our society are overweight. Does that affect a loving relationship, or can people that have size, or what I always say, they come in economy size, there's more of them to love, can they be just as successful? I mean, is it the auric or the vibrations that they're putting off that would override maybe somebody's feeling that they're not a perfect body?
The thing about bodies is this. people are attracted to different things from different people. And there's a lot of beautiful people who are not size 0. And
Yes.
who you are is not your body. Your body is just the vessel you're occupying. Who you are is your spirit and your consciousness and your other than conscious and your intuition. It's the whole combination. It's the spiritual you. That's who you are. Your body is just where you happen to be at the moment.
Excellent answer. I love that. Susan, I want to thank you so much for joining us. It has just been a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's been delightful, and I learned a lot about myself.
Be prepared and surprised and so pleased when you experience Susan Sheppard's work. Her website, again, is gettingwhatyouwant.com. Now, Susan's name excels at being able to have fun while working and staying incredibly grounded at the same time. If your name starts with an SU, then you too can have fun and stay grounded while doing it. Also, if your first vowel is a U, you have that short attention span that we spoke about earlier with Susan, where she wants to keep doing a lot of various different things. Do you know where your genius lies? I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, host of the radio show, Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is heard every weekday at various hours right here on xzbn.net radio and X-Zone Broadcast Network and on knowthename.com. So tune in to hear the fascinating ways other people have discovered the genius in themselves and what they were able to accomplish. In each upcoming show, you'll hear the clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. If you wish to learn how to read a person's name or to know more about your own name and how you can discover your innate genius, visit the website knowthename.com and give yourself the gift of a session. It helps you to live to your best and highest when you find out what your name says about you. This is Sharon Lynn Wyeth signing off.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.